This is my first lecture on database management system. So today we'll be seeing why we are studying this subject, that is database management system. So what is the use of this subject? See, nowadays we need to store the data, we need to analyze the data. This everything is depend on the data. So how to store the data, how to access the data, all these things we are going to see with this subject, database management system. That too, we are storing the data with the help of the system. So that we are going to see in this subject. So we'll see what is data, what is database, what is database management system. We see all the definition on this. So this basically the database management system is divided into two parts. This heading is divided into two parts, that is database and system. Database one part and management system is another part. So we'll see what is data. So data is a known facts that can be recorded and that have some implicit meaning. So what is a data? Data is a known facts, whatever data we know, and it should have some meaning to it. That data we are storing. So that is called as data. For example, here we have taken telephone numbers, address of the people. All these we are considering it as a data. See, before we use these mobiles, we used to store the phone numbers in a book, right? Manually we used to store. But nowadays we are saving all the telephone numbers in the mobile itself. So what we are doing is we are collecting the data. So data is a known facts that have some meaning to it. It is called as data. Next comes database. I hope the definition is clear. Next comes a database. So what is database? It is a collection of logically related data arranged in a structured form and designed to meet the information requirements of multiple users. See, once we store the data, that data can be accessed by multiple users, right? Here a data can be used by multiple users. So we are storing the data using some standard formats. So that is called as database. Whatever data we have collected, that we are storing in a standard format, and that data can be accessed by the multiple users. It is called as database. Next comes database management systems. Whatever data you have, that data you need to define it, right? In a database, if you want to store any data, you have to define that data. If you want to do some manipulation, all those storing the data, defining, retrieving, all these kind of data all this can be done with the help of system. So for that purpose only we have developed a system that is called as database management system. So basically database management system is a system which helps us to maintain the data, and the main thing is first we need to define it, then you can access the data, then you can store the data. All these tasks can be done with the help of this system. So this is called as database management system. So this is your definition. A database management system is a computerized record keeping system. It is a container for collection of computerized data files. The overall purpose of DBMS is to allow the users to define, store, retrieve and update the information contained in a database on demand. So this is your definition for a database management system. So what they are telling is database management system is a system. Which kind of system it is? It is a computerized system, record keeping system, where you can perform all these tasks like defining, storing, retrieving and updating. All these tasks can be performed with the help of this system. So it is called as database management system. So what is defining? For example, you want to store the student data. For that purpose, you have to define it, right? You are like you are storing students' data. You need to define it. So that is called as defining. Storing is saving. Then comes retrieving. What is retrieving? Retrieving is accessing. Once you store the data, whenever you want to access it, you can access with the help of the system. That is called as retrieving. Then comes update. What is update? If at all you want to do some updation, like you want to change the phone number of particular student, that you can do with the help of the system. So this is updating. So all these tasks can be performed with the help of the system. It is called as a database management system. So there are some functionality related to this DBMS, that is defining, construct or load the database, manipulating the database, concurrent processing and sharing by a set of users and programs. These are the functionality of DBMS. Means what all we can do, what all tasks we are doing in this definition. We have defined, we have stored, we are retrieving and we are updating the data, right, with the help of this system. So all these functionalities they have given here. The first functionality is defining a database. Here what you are defining, for example, you are storing, what you are storing? You are storing the student information. So student, which all information you are storing in the database? For example, name, phone number and address. For name, you have in C, in other programming languages, you all might have heard data types, right? For here also in DBMS we have some structure, constraints and data types. These are the terms related to database. So whenever you want to define any database, all these terms has to be defined. Like which data type you are using, for example, name you are storing. Which data type it is? Name comes under character, right? And address is varchar. Means varchar is you can store both number and characters. That is varchar. Phone number is in the form of numbers. So it is number data type. So in defining data type, database is you are defining the data type, structure, constraint. Constraints is which all condition you are applying. Those all can be defined in this functionality, defining a database. Once we start writing the query, that time you will understand these terms. What is database, structure, constraints, all these things we'll study in coming classes. Next comes construct or load the database. See, once you define the database, you need to store it, right? Here you have defined. Using this defined database, you have defined it. Next functionality is you need to store the database, right? So where you are storing? In your storage medium, with the help of the second storage medium, you are storing the data. Means you are in your system, you are storing the database. That is construct or load the database. Second functionality. Third is manipulating the database. Once you define and store the database, if that database can be accessed by multiple users, right? So if anybody wants to manipulate it, means if anybody wants to update that data, that can be done with the update functionality. Manipulating the database is querying, generating reports, insertion, deletion and modification to its contents. Means if at all you want to insert some data, if you want to add some more data, or deletion is deleting some data, and report generating, all these can be done with the help of this manipulating the database. This is the third functionality. The last functionality is concurrent processing and sharing by a set of users and programs at keeping all the data valid and consistent. See, here we are not storing the database for a single users, right? We are defining and storing it for the multiple users, right? So whoever wants to update the data, they can update the data, but if at all they have any authority, then only they can update it. So we are giving this authentication to the users. So concurrent processing and sharing is whichever data you have defined and stored, that data can be shared by the multiple users, but valid data has to be kept in the database, and only authorized person can access the data. So these are the functionality of the DBMS. Other features are protection or security measures to prevent the unauthorized access. See, we are sharing the database only to the authorized people. We are not sharing the data to unauthorized people, right? See, for the best example, you can take your mobile. Everybody keeps password, right? Or fingerprints you all put. Why you all put this password and fingerprints? So that for authentication only you are put, right? So that nobody can steal your data. For that purpose only you are keeping the protection or security to your mobile. The same thing you can protect you can give the security to your database also. Active processing to take the internal action on data means this updating only. If at all anybody wants to update the data, you can update it. Presentation and visualization of data. Whatever data you are storing, here you are defining, you are storing, you are updating, you are processing, right? That data can be present to the user. So these are the other features of database. Next comes the different types of database. We have some different types, different categories in this database that we'll see now. That is centralized database, distributed database, personal database, end user database, commercial database, relational database, cloud database, object oriented database, and these are some database application. So one by one we'll see these categories of the database. The first one is centralized database. So what is the meaning of centralized database? The information is stored at the centralized location and the users from the different location can be access this data. See, what is the meaning of centralized database? The data has been kept at the center and multiple users can access that data. That is called as centralized database. Next comes distributed database. It is the just opposite of the centralized database concept. See, in centralized database we are keeping the database at the center and anybody can access that data. That is centralized. In distributed, it is opposite of centralized. What happens in distributed database is the data has been distributed to multiple users. If at all they are authorized, then only they can access the data, or else they cannot access the data, or they cannot manipulate the data. So distributed, the definition is the data is not at one place. In centralized database, what we have done, we have kept all the data at the center, and anybody can access it. That is centralized database. In distributed database, the database is not kept at one place. Here we have distributed the data to multiple users. For example, if we have 4 systems with us, we have stored the data in all, we have distributed the data to all these 4 systems. That is called as distributed database. The data is not at one place and is distributed at various sites of an organization. These sites are connected to each other with the help of communication links, which helps them to access the distributed data easily. See, just now I have given example that 4 systems I have used. Among these 4 systems, we have distributed the data. How all these 4 systems are accessible? With the help of links. You all might be knowing network, links and all, right? Nodes. With the help of network, the users can access the distributed data among themselves. This is distributed database. Personal database. As the name indicates, personal databases, it is meant for a single user. Here the data has not distributed, or multiple users cannot use it. So this is personal database. Data is collected and stored on personal computer, which is small and easily manageable, right? The data is generally used by the same department of an organization and is accessed by a small group of people. See, this personal database is like your mobile. Your data, whatever data you are stored in your mobile, that data can be accessed by you and to your known people, right? So that is personal database. Personal database is small and easily manageable. End user database. The end user is usually not concerned about the transaction or operation done at various levels and is only aware of the product, which may be a software or an application. See, end user database is data has been stored and the other people can manipulate also. End user means the end user, like only he can access the data. He cannot update the data. Like he cannot manipulate the data. That is called as end user database. This user is not meant for the transaction. Like end user will not write a query. He will not update the data. He will concern only about the data, what he can see. For example, see, now we all, if at all you want to search something in Google, what you will do? You will type in the browser and you will get the data, right? Here you are concerned about only the data. Here you are not concerned about how the data has been processed, how the data has been fetched from the server. All these operation is not related to you. It is related to the internet, right? End user database is related. Here the user is only concerned about what data he is expecting. So that is end user database. Commercial database. Next comes commercial database. These are the paid version of the huge databases designed uniquely for the user who want to access the information for help. These databases are subject specific and one cannot afford to maintain such huge information. Access to such database is provided through commercial links. See, commercial databases are paid versions. For example, this you want to store huge data. For that purpose, you are using the drives right from the Gmail. If your data is not fit into that drive, then you will get some paid memory, then you will store the data in that. So that is commercial database. You just understand, commercial database is a huge database where you can store a huge amount of data, and it is a paid version, means you have to pay for this memory and then only you can store the data. This is commercial database. Relational database. These databases are categorized by a set of tables where the data gets fit into predefined category. The table consists of rows and columns. See, whenever you heard the term relational database, you will see the rows and columns. You are storing the data in the form of rows and columns. It is called as relational database. The structured query language is the standard user and application program interface for a relational database. See, in first paragraph we have seen we are storing the data in the form of rows and columns, right? How you are storing, how you are defining? If you are storing the data in the form of rows and columns, how you are writing it? For that purpose, to create the relational database, we are using this language, structured query language. If you use this SQL language, SQL interface, you can easily create these kind of databases, relational databases. So we all are using relational databases. You are storing the data in the form of rows and columns with the help of SQL language, structured query language. Cloud database. If your data is too much, huge data you want to store, then you will buy the cloud database. This is a virtual database. Virtual memory will be given to you, and there you are storing you are dumping your data. The data has been getting stored over the clouds, also known as virtual environment. So cloud database, in this kind of database also you are storing the huge information. It is called as cloud database. Object oriented database. You see, you all know what is object oriented, right? We have the principles, object oriented principle, like entity, object, polymorphism, inheritance. All these comes under object oriented database, object oriented principle. What is object oriented database? An object oriented database is a collection of object oriented programming and relational database. Here we are combining both these concepts, object oriented and relational database. It is called as object oriented database, means whatever data you are talking about, it will be in the form of objects and entities. Means it is more secure. Object oriented is more secure database. I hope it is clear. Today we have seen what is data, what is database, then database management system, some functionalities we have seen, features and types of database. I hope you all clear with all these concepts. Then next class we'll see the other features of database.